Couldn't even hear me before. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. That was unexpected. I was sitting here, stream was going fine, stream was going great, and all of a sudden, boom, all the lights go out. Computer turned off, all that jazz. Luckily, it wasn't a power outage or anything like that, just a fuse flipped. So we had too many things running at the same time, but we're gonna try and get back into what we were doing. Just give me a minute to get things back to where we were. Now, unfortunately, we may have lost a little bit of our progress on the video. So let's see how much exactly we lost. Hopefully it's not that much. It sort of depends on how often, when the last autosave was. So we will see. But yeah, let's get some music going. Let's see here. Okay, that was weird. But give me a moment to get all set up again. And then we'll just hop right back into things. And it'll seem like it was all a dream. Sucks, people who are watching, I'm sure they're like, oh, stream's over, I guess. But c'est la vie, as they say. Let's take a look here. Let's go into the autosave. Okay, so here's what we got. Today's the 24th, yeah. 1948. Okay, well, that's the latest one that we've got, which is not great. That's oh wait. Oh wait. No. We're better. This is better. Hang on. 2119. So that would be, it's 21. That's 919 was the last save. So let's take a look here. Let's see what we got. With regards to this. Keyboard back up here, and then we can really just dive back into editing here. Give me one moment. All right, well, I think we're good to go here now. So let's lower this back down. Actually, let's do it this way. There we go. So that way it's not too loud. You can still hear me all right. hair is like all over the place. But let's get back into editing and see what we've lost. Hopefully it's not too bad. Give me a second though. Let's add in one thing here real quick. New capture. Okay, yeah. Okay. Here we go. All right. Now we're back at it. What did we lose, right? That's what we're all wondering. Great question. Let's find out. Give me 1 second. All right. Let's see.
Unlike the leading medications at the time. Meanwhile, on the other side of the pond, a fasting trend was hitting the US.
Okay, so we lost
There's actually this kind of hilarious and weird bit from this time where a guy named Bernard McFadden, who apparently hated doctors, started producing his own magazine called Physical Culture, where he argued that medicine is a sham and all you need is a good diet and exercise to live to be over 100 years old. To prove his point, he filled the magazine with pictures of himself, posing with muscles bulged. Hot. But out of this weirdness, McFadden's assistant, a guy named Hugh William Conklin, started using fasting.
So let's go back here. So we'll move this over slightly.
But out of
one more. Oops. One more. Maybe, yeah. That might be good.
But out of
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Hot. But out of this weirdness, McFadden's assistant, a guy named Hugh William Conklin, started using fasting to treat illnesses and began promoting the idea that epilepsy was caused by toxins secreted in the intestines. He claimed that if you fasted for a while, like 18 to 25 days, you could totally detoxify your body and cure your epilepsy. He supposedly had in the intestines. He claimed.
Okay, let's do something here real quick. I just want to make sure that that last. Okay, that's gone to unlisted. Okay, good. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Let's do this. Okay, I just realized that the video I don't think was listed as public over on YouTube, so that may help with people actually finding the stream. Twitch is its own thing, but YouTube, you know. All right, so we're back. We've hopped back into, you know, the video that we're working on. Unfortunately, we've lost a little bit of the material that we were using, but it's not that big of a deal. We're just gonna go through and re-edit the stuff that we were working on before, and then just keep moving forward and keep doing what we were doing before. So here we go.
Hot. But out of this weirdness, McFadden's assistant, a guy named Hugh William Conklin, started using fasting to treat illnesses and began promoting the idea that epilepsy was caused by toxins secreted in the intestines.
Do that.
The intestines. He claimed that if you fasted for a while.
Let's do this. Do a slight, tiny little J cut there. Like that. That's not even, that's nothing.
Intestines. He claimed that if you.
That's nothing. Okay, let's try that. See if that's any better.
He claimed that if you fasted for a while, like 18 to 25 days, you could totally detoxify your body and cure your epilepsy. He supposedly had a 90% cure rate for epilepsy in children and around a 50% cure rate for adults up to age 40. This was a
Okay, there's that car sound again that we were talking about before.
40. This was a
Okay, let's do this again. It's not too bad, Assam. It's tedious. And this is not the fun part either. This is like kind of the annoying part to just like make things flow well. But then once you get into like the effects part, that's what I really like. And then of course, I mean, the videos like this are really mostly just like face to camera, right? So you're mostly just cutting down to the material that you want and maybe throwing in a few extra like things that weren't planned for, but most everything is like very much expected, and you know how things are going to line up and everything. But I think, you know, where these kinds of videos end up becoming really interesting is when you start doing all the visual effects, you know, having stuff appear on screen, having like, you know, little Easter eggs thrown in. That's what I like, at least. So this part is tedious though.
age 40. This was a big deal, especially in the early 1900s, because there wasn't a whole lot in the way of effective anticonvulsant medication. The best options at that time were potassium bromide, which prevented seizures but also has a pretty strong sedative effect, and phenobarbital, a barbiturate, which is actually still used today, but isn't always effective. And if you didn't like either of those options, then your other option was pretty much just to ride it out, which isn't great.
Okay. Hassam, yeah, I will be doing that today later on. Once we finish sort of tightening up these shots, then I'll be moving on to effects. But you kind of have to do this first because everything else ends up sort of relying on this being in decent shape. So I like to just clean it up, and then afterwards, then we'll be getting into the effects stuff. And Angela, glad to see you. How does a person get clean voices when you edit? Or is that the microphone that does that? This is all the microphone right now. We have a pretty nice, it's actually the one, it's the one that I'm using for streaming right now. Here, I'll pull it up so you can see what it looks like. So this is what we use. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. Here, I'll actually, nice close up. This is the one that we use. It is an NTG3 by Rode. It's a fairly pricey microphone, but it does a good job. It's a nice one, and it's the one that they use. I think it's like, I don't know if it is anymore because it's an older mic, but it used to be the standard for like NPR, for when they would go out in the field. And it's nice. So it's a shotgun microphone, you know, nice and skinny. So it's directional. You get like really focused vocals using it. And so we end up having really clean audio. And I try to get the microphone as close as possible during shots so that we don't have too much echo. You'll hear it in these shots, as well as in in the dining room shots, which will be coming up shortly, that there is echo, but it's negligible, that you can sort of tune it out. But we're going to be boosting the levels of the audio soon, and as such, we're going to need to compensate for that. And that's where we'll end up adding some effects to the audio in order to reduce reverb and make it sound a bit cleaner and also flatter. So right now there's a lot of variability between, like, you know, when she's talking loud or when she's talking quiet or that sort of thing. And so we just, you know, put in dynamics, essentially a dynamic filter that flattens that all out so that the quiets are louder and the louder parts are quieter. So anyway, but yeah, it's great sound. It's very nice sound. Okay, and Hassam, I'll try to get to that as quickly as I can. You know, we're going through this, we're a third of the way through the video already, and we're only speeding up as we go. I was saying before, I don't know if any of you were here earlier on, we started the stream at like 8:30 and it was going well, and then all of a sudden, you know, it went out, and part of the reason for that was because, or the reason for that was because I had a fuse flip in my house, so all the lights went out. I was suddenly in the dark, and stream ended abruptly, and we lost a little bit of work. So we're catching up, and we're gonna try to do this as quickly as we can.
It pretty quickly became standard practice.
Hang on, let's hear that again.
Isn't great. It pretty quickly became standard practice among neurologists to recommend Conklin's new fasting diet for epilepsy patients, though no one was really sure exactly how it worked, beyond, you know, toxins.
Okay, we're gonna cut this up a little bit more because I'm not totally happy with that flow.
It pretty quickly became standard practice among neurologists to recommend Conklin's new fasting diet for epilepsy patients, though no one was really sure exactly how it worked.
Cut there, and cut there, and then we'll move this down, and we're gonna do another J cut, and just see how that sounds.
Worked. Beyond, you know, toxins. It worked. Beyond, you know, toxins.
Yeah, I think that's fine. And then we'll end up messing with the zooms and stuff to make it pop a little bit more, but okay.
Eventually, the scientifically minded parents of one epilepsy
We can have that start a little bit sooner. Losing it. There we go. All right. Do that.
Eventually, the scientifically minded parents of one epilepsy patient decided that toxins wasn't a good enough answer and asked physician Stanley Cobb to explain why the treatment worked. And he was like, you know what? That is a great question.
Okay, great. That's good.
So he and a guy named W.G. Lennox question.
Okay, we'll have a little bit of an overlap there as well. Like so.
So he
A little bit more, a little bit more. Like that. Let's see how that sounds. That might be too much.
question. So he and a guy named
That's
W.G. Lennox did assays of the blood and urine of a small group of epileptic patients on the fasting diet, including Lennox himself, and found that they all had a buildup of acid in the bloodstream, known as acidosis, and high levels of serum uric acid. Those acids were
Okay, cut there.
uric acid. Those acid.
don't think we need to overlap that. We can just have that be a jump cut.
high levels of serum uric acid. Those acids were secreted in urine if the subjects ate carbs or certain proteins.
Yeah, that works.
But surprisingly, the acid was not secreted if they only consumed 40% cream. Gross. Overall, they...
Okay, we'll need to cut there.
Gross.
Go straight into... We just want to take out that breath.
Cream. Gross. Cream. Gross. Overall, they...
What we could do here, if we really want to, is, you know, really get a nice tight shot for that, right? So you sort of start...
Gross. Overall, they found the increased level
I think that's pretty good. Yeah, we'll do that.
of acids in the bloodstream typically showed up 2 or 3 days after the fast began and coincided with an improvement in seizures.
Okay, so we have a little bit of a pause there, so we'll do another sort of overlap.
Then, a guy
So we kind of want the J-cut to, if we can manage it, have the J-cut be that long. Let's see.
in seizures. Then, a guy named Roland Turner Wood
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think it works.
seizures. Then, a guy named Roland Turner Then,
Let's have it be a tiny bit shorter there. I know we're getting in the weeds here, but, you know, you gotta do what feels right. And Angela, I'm glad that you find this fascinating. I would say most people do not. Absolutely. They're like, what I would give to, you know, for some people this seems like watching watching paint dry. I was also thinking of drywall being hung. Isn't there a saying around that? Anyway, I find it very interesting, but I can, you know, this is not even the interesting part of it.
improvement in
So we'll get there
seizures.
soon.
Then, a guy named Roland Turner Woodyard started looking at research on the relationship between diet and diabetes. What he found was that if a person was fasting, starving, or eating a particular
Should we take out that?
diabetes. Diabetes.
Let's cut that and just see how that feels.
And diabetes. What he found was that if
We can overlap that a little bit because it's a little bit slow. And go like that and like that.
What he found was that if a person was fasting, starving, or eating a particularly low-carb, high-fat diet, the liver would start to produce 3 compounds called beta-hydroxybutyrate, acetoacetate, and acetone. Collectively, these are known as ketone bodies. The term ketogenic
Okay, great. Now we're gonna do another J cut here. Cut this back to there and move that all forward. We'll cut it a little bit more even. Boom. See how that is.
The term ketogenic diet was coined by Russell Morse Wilder, who conducted the first trial of the diet on epilepsy patients in 1921. Now, patients didn't have to literally starve themselves. They could still eat some foods and get the same beneficial effects. Now, patients didn't have to literally...
Okay, so we got another take of the same thing. So you have to tell me which one you prefer among this list. So we've got this one.
They could still eat some...
Oop, not that.
Now, patients didn't have to literally starve themselves. They could still eat some foods and get the same beneficial effects.
Let's take one.
Now, patients didn't have to literally starve themselves. They could still eat some foods and get the same beneficial effects. Meine Gustav...
I think I like number 2 better. I think I like the second take better. Personally.
patients in 1921.
Let's do that. We'll, oh, that's not what I meant to do. Bring that over.
Now, patients didn't have to literally starve themselves. They could still eat some foods and get the same beneficial effects.
Okay, and we'll do another very small overlap here.
Meine
A little bit more.
Gustav.
Okay. Let's play around with this a little bit.
Meine Gustav Peterman, a colleague of Wilder's, is actually...
Yeah, I think that'll work. We just need to, oh, didn't want to do that. Pull that over. There we go.
Same beneficial effects. Meine Gustav Peterman, a colleague of Wilder's, is actually the person who came up with the classic diet. In kids, this includes a ratio of 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight, fewer than 15 grams of carbohydrates per day, and all other calories coming from fat. So, what does that look like? Well, here's a menu suggested for a 5-year-old by some physicians.
Cut that there. Cut there.
For breakfast.
I don't think we need to overlap those.
5-year-old by some physicians. For breakfast, scrambled eggs made with butter, cheese, and heavy cream with some strawberries, cantaloupe, or pineapple.
Make this really rapid fire. She's going through a menu, right? And so you don't want to like linger on that for too long. So you just want to like blast through it as quickly as you can because it'll have the highest impact that way, I think.
For breakfast, scrambled eggs made with butter, cheese, and heavy cream with some strawberries, cantaloupe, or pineapple. As a mid-morning snack, another small serving of fruit with heavy cream.
Okay.
Heavy cream. For lunch, a burger patty with American cheese, no bun, some broccoli with butter, and heavy cream. For afternoon snack, sugar-free Jell-O and heavy cream.
I guess we could have kept this as a whole take, but I think it's fine being cut up.
Heavy cream. For afternoon snack, sugar-free Jell-O and heavy cream. And then for dinner, chicken breast without the skin, with broccoli, American cheese, mayonnaise, and, you guessed it, more heavy cream.
Okay, great. So then we've got to transition into our new scene, which is in the dining room. And I don't think we need to... I guess we'll have to figure out how we're going to get from one shot to the other. I mean, you can just do a cut, right? And just go straight from, you know, where we are right now into the dining room. I like to have some sort of extra transition just to show that something is changing, you know, to give a reason for that change, even if it isn't really that logical of a reason.
Cream. Now, you might be
right? Because otherwise it's kind of like, what? What just happened there? So we don't want it to be too slow. Oop. So we'll try that, right?
Now,
maybe even that is too much time in between. Although we're also going to have music in the background, right? And sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of extra space to be able to end a song. I don't know, man. Heavy cream.
Cream. Now, you might be heavy cream.
Let's do that and that.
More heavy cream. Now, you might be asking yourself, how on earth did this
I think it's fine. I think that'll be fine. We'll mess with it if we need to later on, but I think for our purposes, good enough, and let's just keep moving.
Now, you might be asking yourself, how on earth did this diet become popular? Big Dairy must be making a fortune. Well, just to
Okay, let's do a little bit of overlap there too. Nothing too intense.
be making a fortune. Well, just to clarify, the classic ketogenic diet and the one that's used to treat epilepsy is not quite the same as the one that's used to lose weight.
Okay. Wow, look at that. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right. Oop. Allie brought me a delicious, snack to have. Lemon blueberry pound cake.
Lose weight.
Okay, let's. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do.
The weight loss
Okay, let's give ourselves some space there. Let's try that.
weight. The weight loss approach
Okay. Keep doing that. Do not mean to do that. Attach that.
The weight loss approach does try to push the body into ketosis, where it burns fatty acids instead of glucose, but isn't quite as restrictive on the carbs. And you're not supposed to stay on the keto diet forever because, as I'll get to in a bit, the side effects can be pretty rough.
Okay. So I'll do another J cut here.
Rough. In the 1920s, this diet was enormously effective for patients. While some of them reported unpleasant side effects like nausea and vomiting, many of them showed improved alertness and sleep patterns.
Okay. And move that over. Let's see how that.
Alertness and sleep patterns. And in a study of
Okay, let me do that. And do this.
sleep patterns. And in a study of 37 pediatric patients, Peterman reported that 95% showed improvement in their seizures, and 60% became entirely seizure-free.
Okay. I appreciate that, Angela. I'm glad that you're here. Glad that you're getting something out of this.
Entirely seizure-free.
For me, it always helps to have a little bit of accountability, to have something that's pushing me to keep editing quickly. So having people watching is like a great way to force me to stay focused.
Entirely seizure-free. As time continued, scientists began to develop more effective anticonvulsant drugs, including sodium valproate, and the use of the ketogenic diet started to drop off, which isn't really that surprising. It's probably kind of hard to convince your 5-year-old to chug heavy cream all day.
Okay. Once again, do one of these. Do that. Oop. Okay. Just trying to do a little bit of.
But then in 1994, NBC's Dateline did a story about the son of producer Jim Abrams, the guy who did Airplane and The Naked Gun. Toddler Charlie Abrams had severe Naked Gun.
You know, here might actually be a good moment to put in like a clip from the film. Something brief. So I'm gonna leave a little space for that. We might also try to include a little clip from the interview, depending on if that exists out there somewhere. That might be interesting. So let me just make a space, and we'll just create a black video that will take that space right there, so I remind myself to fill in this later on. Here we go.
Toddler Charlie Abrams had severe epilepsy that was eventually controlled with the ketogenic diet, leading Jim Abrams to create the Charlie Foundation to promote research and awareness on the diet. It led to a whole on the diet.
Okay. Delete that. Once again, do a J cut.
On the diet. It led to a whole cultural moment, including a movie starring Meryl Streep. How 90s. Streep. How.
Okay, cut that.
Meryl Streep. How 90s.
Okay, and then maybe we can do another J cut there.
These days, the diet and variants of it are still used for controlling seizures in some patients, and it's also being studied in other medical conditions. And, of course, it's a favorite among gym bros who want to get super cut.
Oh, wow. That's awesome that you actually saw it when it aired. How funny.
Okay,
this is another one of those where we're gonna hop in close.
Super cut.
Maybe not that close. Like that, maybe? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll play around with that.
Those who want to get super cut. But how does it do this? Why is the ketogenic diet so effective at controlling seizures when other treatments, including literal anticonvulsant medications, are not? So,
okay. So we're gonna do this and that.
Are not. So, spoiler alert, we're still not actually sure. But let's talk about a couple of theories. The brain uses electrical signals to transmit information, and it takes some complicated computing to get all those signals to line up in a living, breathing, conscious human. So our brains have lots of neurotransmitters that can either excite a neuron to make it fire or inhibit a neuron to stop it from firing. Seizures occur firing.
Do that. Do that. Okay, zoom in.
When the seizures.
Let's overlap that a little bit more.
Seizures occur when the balance between from firing. Seizures occur when the balance between excitatory and inhibitory signaling gets wonky and things get disrupted, leading to uncontrolled electrical activity in the brain.
Do that.
For
Do that.
in the brain. For more on this stuff, check.
Let's do this. Just a tiny overlap there. There we go.
Brain. For more on this.
A little bit more.
Brain. For more on this stuff, check.
Yeah, one more. There we go.
Brain. For more on this stuff, check out the links in the description to watch some of our earliest videos on the subject. Aw.
Okay.
The subject. Aw. Baby neurotransmissions.
Okay. Do that. Do this.
Those inhibitors. Those.
We don't need a ton of this. I think we can actually overlap that more. Nope. Do that. Okay.
Those inhibitory signals, mostly provided by the neurotransmitter GABA, play a big role in the function of most anticonvulsant medications, which are believed to discourage seizures by increasing GABA signaling in the brain. Anticonvulsant.
Nope. Why aren't you? There we go.
Brain. Anticonvulsants can also target the ion channels that dot the neuronal cell membrane, modulating the activity of the cell. But, to be honest, as with so many psychiatric medications, we're not even 100% sure that that's exactly how these drugs work. We just know that they work.
Okay. So let's take that out. Do that. Pull these in. Overlap that a little bit more. Like that. There.
The ketogenic diet works by dramatically cutting sugar, which is what we mostly use to fuel our bodies. This forces the body into a state of almost starvation, where it uses fatty acids as its main source of fuel instead. We know that on the ketogenic diet, most fatty acids can't cross the blood-brain barrier, unlike glucose, which could pose a problem since your brain burns a lot of energy. But those ketone bodies, produced when the liver processes those fatty acids, can enter the brain, and they act as a semi-substitute for glucose. Some people theorize
Okay.
substitute for glucose.
Okay, great. Move that there. Do a little bit of overlap.
Some people theorize the ketone bodies themselves are anticonvulsant, which is supported by some research in animal models showing that acetoacetate and acetone can help prevent seizures. Ketone bodies.
Okay. Cut that down. Move this back up. Move that back.
Ketone bodies are
One more. There we go.
seizures. Ketone bodies are actually a more efficient fuel source than glucose, which might enable the brain to build up energy reserves, including extra mitochondria, which could help the brain keep itself stable when a seizure tries to pull extra energy. And that could be neuroprotective.
Okay.
One thing that's confusing is whether the
don't need that much overlaps. Maybe that.
Effective. One thing that's
Let's try that.
One thing that's effective. One thing that's confusing is whether the ketogenic diet does anything to GABA signaling. In animals, it doesn't seem signaling.
Okay. Bring that over. Cut this down. Pull it over.
In animals, it doesn't seem to do anything. But then a study in human patients showed that the ketogenic diet led to increased GABA levels in cerebrospinal fluid. And the higher a patient's GABA level, the better their response to the diet. So maybe that is a part of it.
Bring this over. Do an overlap there. Boom.
Part of it. When I was researching this, I found something interesting, which is that while the mechanism of the ketogenic diet appears to be different from basically every known anticonvulsant, a drug called fenofibrate, which is mostly used to treat abnormal blood lipid levels, shows some interesting anticonvulsant effects in rats. So it seems like there's something else that's still totally unknown going on here.
Okay, then we go to outside.
Here.
So we'll cut that down. Oops, didn't want to do that. Not yet. A little busy.
Going on here. Now,
Okay, two. That was two.
on here.
We'll do that, and then we'll have this come in.
Now, the diet is
Yeah. All right. You can tell the audio change immediately, right? Like as soon as you go from indoors to outdoors, you're just introducing all of this ambient noise. So I think what we need to do is sort of fade into that a little bit, if we can.
here.
Yeah. And we'll just have that come in slowly, or as slowly as we're able to without it being distracting.
Going on here. Now,
Not great. I think maybe if we could start it a little bit earlier, that would be great.
known going on here. Now, the diet is not
Let's try moving it over.
without it going on here. Now, the diet is not without its risks and negative side effects.
Good enough. We'll make it work. We'll end up doing some editings, working on the audio in this section so that it doesn't sound so loud in the background. Hopefully that helps.
Now, the diet is not without its risks and negative side effects. Some of the common discomforts include constipation, nausea, vomiting, and hypoglycemia, as well as increased cholesterol levels. People on the levels.
Okay, cut.
Pe-
Oh. Okay. Oh, these got unpaired. Relink those. All right, here we go.
Cholesterol levels. People
And we'll do a little overlap on that as well. Bring this up and bring it over. How's that?
levels. People on levels. People on
Maybe a touch over. A touch.
levels. People on the
Yeah, I like that. Okay.
levels. People on the strict diet also have to take supplements to make up for nutrients they're not getting through their food. Kids who spend a long time getting through their food.
Okay, we'll cut that.
getting through their food. Kids who spend a long time on the diet can end up with stunted growth, kidney stones, and even bone fractures, which might seem surprising given how much calcium you'd think they'd be getting from all that heavy cream.
Cut that breath.
From all that heavy cream. Also, the diet is great for weight loss, which is why variations on the diet are popular in fitness communities. But that's not great for little kids. This is probably why the diet isn't super common, except in cases where medications aren't doing a good job controlling seizures. And it's also why adults who do keto to lose weight should be thoughtful about their dieting approach. There's a reason medications aren't doing a good job controlling seizures. And it's also why adults who do keto to lose weight should be thoughtful about their dieting approach. There's a reason that physicians recommend a diet high in leafy greens, complex carbs, and lean proteins, and not one that involves taking shots of heavy cream 5 times a day.
Okay, cool. I mean, shots of heavy cream 5 times a day does not sound that fun, if we're being honest. Okay, so now I believe we phase into the ad for Brilliant, which I'm not actually even really gonna edit that much. I'll probably edit that on my own tomorrow, because, you know, that while it is effects heavy, I don't know, I feel weird like editing an ad in front of you guys, but also, even on top of that, we don't have, Allie has to do some voiceover work for it, so it's just not, it's not screen ready yet. But we'll go to the end and just make sure that that's tight and ready to go, and then we'll go back and start doing effects.
Subscription. So there you have it. Sorry to leave you with another video where the short answer is still, we don't know. But I think it's actually really cool that we have this diet that's been so helpful for so long, and we still don't know exactly how it works. Maybe in another 5 or 10 years.
Okay, we'll cut that breath there.
How it works.
Cut that. Boom.
Maybe in another 5 or 10.
Just make sure that that cut looks good.
How it works. Maybe in another 5 or 10 years, we'll figure it out. But what about you? Have you ever tried? We'll figure it out.
I'm gonna cut out that but, because not necessary.
Figure it out. What about you? Have you ever tried a keto diet? What was it like? I've never done it myself, but I can remember my parents doing Atkins back in the day. And that seemed kind of miserable, although there was a lot of bacon. Anyway, share your experiences in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about how your diet affects your brain health, especially as you age, make sure you check out our new book, Brains Explained, which is available now wherever books are sold. We're really proud of it, and I hope that you give it a read. Thanks for watching this episode of Neurotransmissions. Until our next transmission, I'm Allie Astrocyte. Over and out.
Dang plane flying right over right when we were finishing filming. But that's okay. You can see she's looking up at the plane. Okay, so we are done now with a little bit of a tighter cut. Good morning, Methan. Where are you calling in from, bud? If it's morning where you're at, it is. It's 10:30 at night here, so we must be on opposite ends of the world. Okay, so it was originally 16 minutes, 16 and a half minutes. We've whittled it down to 14 minutes and 40 seconds. Part of that was because I missed some takes that were repeats. but also I think it's just from kind of, cutting the edges, so to speak, and cutting out breaths. So now, India, that's awesome. That's great. Well, I'm glad to have you here. Now we're gonna get into effects. So let's start from the very beginning and just start doing these effects, and we'll pop over to After Effects. And actually, while I'm thinking of it, let me change my setup here so that it's a little bit easier to look at everything. There we go. There, that should be a little bit easier, because now I don't have to worry about you seeing what I'm seeing on the screen. All right, here we go. Let's start it off.
If you're into fitness, or if you know anyone who is, you've probably met someone who's on the keto diet. It seems like yet another trendy low.
Great. First opportunity. She says keto diet. We want keto diet to appear on screen. So what we do is right click on that clip, right? Hit replace with After Effects composition. That is going to open up After Effects here. It's going to want, oh my God, my computer's freezing up on me. Oh, there we go. It's looking for the LUT, so we're gonna open that up. And if you're unfamiliar with what a LUT is, LUT stands for Look Up Table, and essentially it helps with color correction for your shots. So we added a LUT during the last stream, and that just keeps the color correction consistent from shot to shot, which is really nice. Okay. So now we've got, and pardon me while I'm eating. Now we've got the shot transferred over into After Effects. It didn't bring in the fade from black. And it removed it over here too. So we're gonna have to add that back in ourselves. I guess we could add it in ourselves here. It's about 2 seconds, 18 frames. So we'll go to 218 more or less. We'll pull up opacity. Let me move myself so you can see what the heck I'm talking about. Nope, that's not what I want to move. I want to move me. Yoink. Now I'm over in the other corner. Just a little bit easier to see because a lot of stuff happens on this side. So if any of you are really interested in what I'm putting in here, then it's nice to actually be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a keyframe for opacity at 100% and then go back to the beginning of the clip. I'll change it down to 0. And now we should get a nice fade in, just like we had before. I'm going to change the render quality to half so that it renders a little bit faster. There we go.
If you're into fitness, or if you know anyone who is, you've probably met someone who's on the keto diet.
Okay, first opportunity. What we're going to do is put in keto diet. Now, I've been kind of messing around. I'm going to go back to full temporarily while we're doing this. I've been messing around with fonts lately. I've been using Graphic recently for my videos. I haven't done that for Ali yet. For the most part, for what we whoa, that got away from me. The font that we usually use for our videos is called Science Fair. And it was just like something that I found way back when that I was like, oh, it's a fun font and it has science in the name, so sure, let's use that. And it works, you know, no problem with it at all. So let me just ask you guys though, because you're the ones that end up watching these videos, right? So we've got this font, which is the one that maybe you're most familiar with, called Science Fair. That's usually what we use. And recently I've changed it for a few of my videos to graphic. And let's try medium, maybe? Ooh. Obviously, we would change that, right? It's clean. It's still sans serif. I like sans serif. You get a difference in the characters, you know, capitalization versus, you know, uppercase, lowercase, essentially. You don't get that with Science Fair. Everything is uppercase. I don't know. Maybe this isn't that important and nobody cares except for me, but I figured I would throw it out to you guys. Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer this font that I've got up here right now and how this kind of looks, or do you prefer it to be sort of the old style font that you're used to? And while I'm waiting for answers, I'm going to eat some cake. Nobody's writing, which I take to mean that nobody cares about it except for me. You can't understand me? Are you able to hear me okay? Hey, Zach. How's it going? Can you not understand what I'm saying? Am I not speaking clearly? Zach, thanks for joining. We have a debate that maybe you can help settle. I was saying before that I've got two fonts that I'm trying to decide between, and it's one of them is up here on screen. So we've got this one, which is called Graphic, and it's sort of a font that I've been playing around with lately. Or we've got Science Fair, which is what we've been using for a while. Thoughts? Opinions? I was saying with Science Fair, you don't get any uppercase, lowercase, but it's familiar. We've been using it for a while. Versus graphic, probably medium is probably what I would use. Opinions, thoughts. And if you don't care, then I'm gonna keep it with graphic probably. Okay. Now, here's the next question. Should keto diet be in quotation marks? Should keto be in quotes? You like the first one, graphic? Okay, great. Graphic it is then. That's what we're gonna stick with. Thank you for your input, and both Christina and Zach, appreciate that. I think graphic is nice. It feels more grown up, maybe, than Science Fair, so I appreciate that. So here's the next thing. We got keto diet, right? We can put quotes around. I don't really like how the quotation marks look. Those things are ugly. Ugh. Well, anyway, we can put it just around keto. We can put it around keto diet. Or just leave it off. I'm kind of leaning towards leaving it off. I don't think it looks great with it on. We're gonna make it smaller. We don't need this to be a giant thing. We just want it to be on screen. I'm gonna pull up my title and action safe so I can see where this falls. And with that in mind, I'm gonna move this down slightly to there. Without quotes, yeah, I agree. Okay, great. We're going without quotes, just putting keto on there, keto diet. What I'm gonna do now is pull up. This is one of my favorite plugins, by the way. I have it hotkeyed so that I can pull it up easily, and it'll show up wherever my mouse is. But it's this thing called the Effects Panel by videocopilot.net, which is run by Andrew Kramer, who, if you're unfamiliar and you want to learn how to do After Effects, that's a great place to learn. He's got a lot of awesome tutorials. But anyway, he created this thing that allows me to just search for effects really easily. And there's a few that I always use for our text, drop shadow being the primary one. So what that does is it creates a nice shadow to help us differentiate our text from the background, because without it, it's a little bit, without that shadow, it becomes a little bit, especially if you have a light background. If this were, let me show you what I mean. If it's up here, right? Up in this corner, suddenly you lose the text up here. Like if you squint, you can see it maybe, but with the contrast of the shadow, it's no problem. Well, it's still a little bit kind of ugly, but you get the idea. It's better than it was. A lot of people will actually do, instead of a drop shadow, they'll do a stroke, which is just an outline essentially around like that, which is very clear. But I find it also kind of kiddish looking, so I don't do that. So we're gonna move this back and we're all good to go. Okay, so now we've got keto diet on screen. And now what I'm gonna do is move the clip to just the point where it should be showing up on the screen. Let's actually play this through a little bit.
You've probably met someone who's on the keto diet.
Okay, so
Someone who's on the keto diet.
you probably want to move it back slightly, and then what we're gonna do, yet another plugin that's really great if you're trying to get into effects and you hate doing keyframes like I do. There's this plugin that's free called Animation Composer, and it gives you just a bunch of presets for different things, pre-comps, presets, even sounds, that sort of thing. So what I'm going to do is pull up the 2D layer transitions and have this ease in from the bottom. And it sort of gives you a demonstration of what that'll look like. And I'll add that to the in. But I don't really like the rotation on this. Oops, what did I just do? Oh, I just turned on the ruler. I don't like the rotation, so I'm going to turn that off. Now we just have it coming like that. It's a little bit quick, and also you can see there's it's very crisp, and it looks a little unnatural. So another thing that we're going to do here to make this look nicer is turn on motion blur, like that. So with that turned on, now you can see it sort of blurs as it comes in, right? Which looks far more natural, when you're seeing something move on screen, that's what you expect. So hopefully that will look good. Let's take a look.
You've probably met someone who's on the keto diet.
Okay, we need it to come onto screen a little bit earlier. Keto diet, she says it right there. So we want it totally on screen right then.
Someone who's on the keto diet.
Especially because it's not on screen for that long.
If you're into fitness, or if you know anyone who is,
You've probably met someone.
It's alright. After Effects does some funny things with audio. When it's rendering, it'll slow down, and then the person's voice will suddenly pitch shift and become like a monster voice. So apologies for that. But this looks good. That's all that we needed to do on this clip. Let's go back to the timeline and move forward and see what else see what's next.
It seems like yet another trendy low-carb diet, right? Just like the Atkins diet or the paleo diet. All of these food regimens use the same basic principles that essentially force the body to burn fat for fuel instead of sugar. But what if I told you that the keto diet,
Hang on.
unlike...
What the heck? Okay. Well, that was weird. I don't know how things got flipped around on the screen. Sorry about that. How long was it like that? Hopefully people are still watching. So essentially we added in keto diet. Boom. Now we're moving on the rest of this timeline to sort of see what's next so that we can edit that.
It seems like yet another trendy low-carb diet, right? Just like the Atkins diet or the paleo diet.
Okay, Atkins diet or the paleo diet. Atkins diet. Let's see if there's any imagery that might go along with that. There's a book. Not a book written by Atkins himself. Atkins diet. Let's see. What would be good here? There's a picture of a salad. There's Atkins diet for beginners. Gosh, what would be good here? What was the other one that she mentions? Atkins diet or the
Paleo diet.
Paleo diet. Okay, paleo diet will be easy because paleo diet. No peanuts. That's a bummer. Paleo diet. Yet more pictures of food. Okay, but with the paleo, I think it would be kind of funny to put like a picture of a Neanderthal or like a caveman or something like that. That'd be kind of fun. Yeah, Zach, sorry about that black screen there. I have no idea what happened. It just like switched on me. But it should be good now. All right, let's get a cave person. Let's do that first. And I know that you're not really seeing what I'm seeing right now. Let's find. This seems pretty good. How large are these images though? That's not a large image. Okay, I'm gonna find a large image and. Okay, hang on. Okay. Hang on, let me just pull over the one screen here. Let's see. Okay. So here. So this is one option for the imagery we could use for paleo diet. Let's see, they've got a lot of cartoons, which I'm not really that interested in. They don't speak to me. Well, it'd be kind of funny, you know, just since it's on YouTube, we could, although he hasn't done anything lately, we could do a picture of, what's his name, who does primitive technology. Just have that guy on there. That'd be kind of fun. Let's see what he looks like. Primitive technology. Oops, not videos, images. I mean, he's eating yams right there, you know. That's not bad. Let's see if there's large image. What What happened to primitive technology? Yeah, I wonder that too. I haven't seen anything from him in a long time. And there's all these other channels that are like stealing his jam, you know? They're like it's not bad. We could sort of like crop that a little bit, make that work potentially. But yeah, there's all these other YouTube channels that have sprung up that are offshoots of what he's doing, and they're not nearly as good, in my opinion. Technology yam. Let's try that. So he's eating there. And that's not a very good picture. That one's pretty funny. That could work. It's not a very large picture though. Bear Grylls. Yeah, but Bear Grylls is like... Bear Grylls is a survivalist. And whereas primitive technology is like going back to an old, a primitive way of living, you know? Okay, well let's look at our options. We got that. We can use this. We can cut this up and use that as a picture. We can use this guy. We can use... Yeah, I don't know. The Geico dude. Geico commercial person. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing is like calling to me from that. Maybe I feel like primitive technology is probably the way to go. You know, people are gonna recognize that who know. So we're just gonna download that. And then, okay, here, let me show you options for Atkins diet. Kind of boring, if I'm being honest here. Maybe this could work. Is that his book? Yeah, this is his book. Let's try and find a large image, though. Large book. That's not a large image. What the heck? So... that's also not a large image. What the heck? Oh, I guess I didn't put it in. I thought that I had. So that is not a great picture. Utsav, how's it going, man? And Zach, thanks for hanging out. Happy you gave your feedback and everything. I really appreciate that. Hope you have a good night. It is getting late, so hope you sleep tight. I hope it's a good, quiet sleep. That is very pleasant. Oh, here you go. This looks nice. Okay, we're gonna use this. Wonderful. This is exactly what I was looking for. Sort of an old school, like, original diet book. All right. So now we're gonna bring this clip over into After Effects. Using the kitchen LUT. And then...
It seems like yet another trendy
low-carb diet, right? Just like
Right.
the Atkins diet.
The
Atkins diet right there. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna grab those files that we just downloaded, pull them over into this scene. Starting off with Atkins This other one will be later on, so we'll have that one there. Okay, so this needs to be scaled down. We still want it to be large enough that people can read it and know what it is. But we don't want it to be too big that it takes up the entire screen. We're going to have it slightly rotated to add some visual interest. I think it's still a bit too large. So we'll scale it down a bit. Maybe put it... Wow, this book is really long. Like stretched out long. I don't know how many pages it has, but let's cock it the other way, like that. And that way we can put it there. So then we'll put the caveman right here. Or not the caveman, primitive technology. So same thing as before, I'm going to use Animation Composer to help make this process way easier, way smoother, and just pull this over. So we'll have it come in from the left, of course. And I actually don't mind the rotation, I think,
Atkins diet or
that. And we'll turn on motion blur.
Atkins diet or
She says Atkins right there, so we want it to be in right when she says it.
like the Atkins diet or the paleo.
The paleo diet. So first things first, let's take this. We're gonna cut out. Let's do it from down here. And we're just grabbing the image of him there. Do I need this pot here? No. Gives a little bit of frame of reference though. I feel like it'll help people understand what it is a bit more. So I'm just pulling up position, scale, and rotation. We'll position it, needs to be scaled down for sure. And we're gonna put it in this corner. And since that's rotated that direction, we're gonna rotate this in the opposite direction. Like that. What do you think? And they slightly overlap. I think I like that. We'll add a drop shadow to this to give some visual interest. And I think we're good to go. Oh, we need to add in his movement.
Or the paleo diet. It seems like yet another trendy low-carb diet, right? Just like the Atkins diet or the paleo diet. It seems like
I think that's pretty good.
yet another...
Okay, great. I'm gonna save that, save the file, save over here as well, and move on. Next.
All of these food regimens use the same basic principles that essentially force the body to burn fat for fuel instead of sugar.
Okay, so we have the same scale going in from one shot to the other. I don't like that. I don't like the direct jump cut for most shots. So we're gonna zoom in slightly, but first what I want to do is see where this shot ends. And what we're gonna do is just dragged from the ruler to get this nice blue line. And that's the center, that's the middle of the eyes, middle of the face, kind of, that's where you're looking when you're watching this video, right? And so now when we zoom in on the footage, I want to line that up, more or less. And what that's going to do is it's going to make the viewing experience just a little bit easier. Now you gotta make sure that her head's not getting cut off or anything like that, but...
The paleo diet. All of these food regimens use...
So we could probably line it up actually with that. There we go. It's a little bit of... You're taking artistic artistic, what's the saying that I'm thinking of? You're taking artistic liberty, I guess, with your editing. But
paleo diet. All of these food regimens use the same basic principles that essentially force the body to burn fat for fuel instead of sugar. But what if I told you that the keto...
Once again, right, we're gonna go to the end here. And it's more or less in the same spot as we left it. It's good to know. And now it's zoomed out all the way to 50%. We're gonna zoom it in slightly, just to give ourselves the freedom to adjust and get it closer to that midpoint, like so.
Sugar. But what if I told you that the keto diet, unlike the
Artistic license. Yes, thank you, Alex. Not artistic liberty, artistic license. That's the saying.
But what if I told you that the keto diet, unlike these other diets, does more than just help people lose weight and get buff? In fact, it's sometimes used today as a valuable medical tool to treat epilepsy. But
Okay, so there we could put in some visuals. We could have like lose weight, get buff, and then epilepsy. So we could have, you know, someone measuring their waist, someone pumping iron, and then they're both like covered up with a picture of someone having a seizure. No, we're not going to do that. But something that represents epilepsy that people will understand. We don't need to do this, I should say. We don't need to add images here. We can just let the words speak for themselves if we want. Let me just see if there are any good images that demonstrate epilepsy that others have come up with. Yeah. It's not great. Okay. I'm gonna skip it for now. We don't need a bunch of stuff on screen 24/7. So I'm gonna say let's just not do it. Come back to it later. If at a later point when I'm watching through this again, I say, you know, we need a little something here, then I can add it in. But we're gonna try to identify the really necessary ones first, I think.
But let's...
Okay, let's make sure that this is lining up again. So that comes down there. We'll pull this over here. Okay. So once again, let's zoom in like that.
But let's back up. Where did these low-carb diets come from? And how the heck do they have an effect on epilepsy?
Okay. So once again, eyes right in the middle there. Boom. And we're going to a far out shot. At some point we're gonna have to get back to this, right? Because I kind of want to use the whole view of the kitchen. So at some point we'll probably have to break the rule, so to speak, of making it easier to watch for the sake of getting that wide out shot. But for the moment, let's try to... Okay, so we're centered on this line, not so much on this one, and I think I'm okay with that. I think that's fine.
Have an effect on epilepsy. So it turns out that using dietary adjustments to treat health conditions has been going on for a long time. Well, lots of people thought epilepsy had a supernatural cause, you know, like...
Okay, so we kind of do need a far out shot here. I don't like that it's that far out.
So it turns out it's been on for a long time. But lots of people
So it's 64% there, 50% here. It's fine. Don't overthink this, Micah. Just live and let live. All right, but we are going to essentially reset. So we'll go to the end. And now her eye line is right there. Ooh, yeah, there's, okay, so we'll keep it on this line. At 100%. We can somewhat raise it up, I think, to there.
You know, like demonic possession.
Let's see how that flows.
Supernatural cause, you know, like demonic possession. There's a document from 400 BC where
I think that's okay.
there's a
So now her eye line is there. Move this slightly. We'll just keep it on that line, on the vertical line, like that.
long time. Well, lots of people thought epilepsy had a supernatural cause, you know, like demonic possession.
Okay, let's do a fun thing. Let's grab this clip, because we can do something fun with that. Okay, bring that over into After Effects.
You know, like demonic possession.
So she kind of opens her eyes wide when she's saying demonic possession. I kind of want to I kind of want to tint her eyes for a nice little flash, just to throw people off just a tiny bit. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna create a circle. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna duplicate this and put a circle around her eyes. Like so. Boom. Right? And we'll do the same thing over here. Good. Great. And now what we're going to do is pull up what will be a good maybe tint. And no, maybe not tint. Maybe tint is the wrong thing. Let's do curves. And we'll pull up the red. Boost that. And boost those. And we'll lower some of these other values. Like that. We'll slightly we'll give ourselves a nice, oh, what did I do? Is that the alpha? What was I messing with? Okay, get some nice red eyes, right? Check that out. And I'm gonna add on here a glow. Ooh, yeah, that's nice. No glow, with glow. And then we're gonna take these masks, we're gonna feather them slightly. We're also going to bring them in. We don't want them all the way bleeding outside of the eye. So we're gonna feather 9, -3 expansion, like so. Creepy. That's exactly what we're going for. Okay. I'm gonna move these out slightly. I guess not. Ooh. What happened? What did I just miss? Hey, we got a subscription over on YouTube, Mr. Ekido. Thanks for the sub. Give me 1 second, folks. Just one moment. All right, we're back. So, here's the deal. We've got both of the eyes now with a nice red color. Now what we need to do is duplicate this. And we're going to delete one of the masks on this side. And we're going to delete one of the masks, or the opposite mask on that side. You might be saying, why would we do that? Well, we need to track the position of the eye now, and they're going to move, since Allie moves her head, you know, side to side, most likely. If we're tracking them individually, then they will line up better. So we'll take this eye first, and we'll do a little bit of a track mat on that. Track motion. And maybe we'll back it up, although I guess we should start with that frame. And we'll take this tracking point and we'll put it right on her iris, just right in the middle. And we'll make that the thing that we're tracking, since that is what this will be focused on. And we'll track forward. Okay, so she closed her eye there, and yet somehow it still tracked it. Amazing. Let's zoom in and make sure that it actually did a good job of doing that. Yeah, that's okay. This should move there. That should probably go there. Not that it matters that much, because we probably won't even use that part of the track. That should go there. That should go there. Okay. Oh, we didn't even track that part. Okay. And then we'll track backwards. Wait, I thought that we had tracked backwards. I guess so. Hang on. Wait. I am very confused now. So we had tracked backwards from the start, apparently. It's not really on the iris now, is it? So it's on the iris there. That's off. Move that over. Let's track this back frame by frame to get a nice, accurate track so we're not losing control. And this will all make sense very shortly as to why we're doing this. Okay, I think that's good. And then we'll track forward just a little bit too, for the heck of it. Okay, we'll say that's good. Okay, we'll end there. And now what we're gonna do, layer new null object. I haven't been checking comments. Let's take a look. All right, we're good. Hey, 8 people watching. Nice to see you all here. If you're joining and you're like, what the heck is going on? I'm editing the video that's going up on Wednesday. It's about the ketogenic diet and how it can be used for epilepsy, for treating epilepsy. But that's not what we're doing right now. Right now, we're giving Allie demon eyes. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so we created a null object. We're gonna edit the target for this motion path and put it on the null and say okay. And then we're gonna apply X and Y, yes, great. And now we're gonna rewind to the point where it makes sense right there. And what we're gonna do is pull up the position of this. We're going to pick whip and pair it to that. Uh-oh, it disappeared. Now it's way the heck up here. Why did it do that? Well, that's not that big of a deal. What we will do now is... Actually, what I'll do is I'll just mess with the anchor point. Will that be a problem? Yeah, no, it'll be fine. Mess with the anchor point on this layer. And we'll just re-center that eyeball. And then we should be good as gold. Oop, don't want to do that. Like so, and there you go. Right? Wonderful. And now, let's remove this eyeball. This one should match up. Let's take a look.
You know, like demonic possessions. You
Whoa,
know, like
what the-
demonic possessions.
Okay, that did not work. What is happening there? Oh, I'm dumb. Well, all right, that happens. Okay. I'm dumb. I tracked the motion, but then I paired the layer to. So let me undo all of this. What I was just doing here. I paired the layer to it instead of the mask. So let's do this. Let's do the mask instead. Oh, is that not allowed? Will that not work? It's not going to let me do that. Yeah, it's not gonna let me do that. How could I do this? How can I be clever about this? You track the eye, and then I mean, I could literally just cut out the eyeball, but her eye kind of moves, you know, like there. Right? I guess it could kind of work. Well, let's do that as just to try it out. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to here, time. It's not gonna let me do that. Hang on. Let's try that again. Time. No, it's not gonna let me do that. That's interesting. Maybe because I have a mask on it. All right, that's okay. We can make this work. It's just instead of using tracking, which would be way, way easier, instead what I'll just have to do is rotoscope it by hand, essentially, which is annoying, but not the worst thing in the world. So what we'll do is we'll move that up there, you know, it's just like essentially just adjusting where the filter is on the footage, which again, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just a little bit tedious because then you just have to keep moving it around. Oh, I don't want that. Come on, there we go. Fun times, fun times. All for a joke. Just a little joke here. There's got to be an easier way to do this, right? There's definitely an easier way to do this. Okay, let's do this. I'm going back to my original plan. I had already tracked this, right? Okay, I don't know why it's like freaking out on me. There we go. What's the deal? It's being kind of funky on me. Stabilize, raw. It's giving me a weird. I've never seen raw before. I don't want stabilize, I just want transform. Okay, there we go. So let's put it back on the null one more time. And here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna come into this. Let's duplicate this footage. We're going to hide these layers. We're gonna take this layer, right? And we're gonna go to the part where her eyes are really wide open, but in focus. That's not bad. I kind of want. So there's that one, there's that one. We'll use that one. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Go to time, freeze frame. Now it's frozen. Even if we move this, it's all the same. And we're gonna take our mask and just grab that eyeball. Like so. Just the part that we want. Like that. Okay. And now, right, you see that it's like just the eyeball. Now what we can do is pair the movement position to positioning here, like so. Boom. And now it disappeared. Again, it went up here. So we'll take that. Same thing that happened before. Oops. So we'll bring it to where it's supposed to be. Like so. Okay, I swear this is gonna all pay off in the end. Is that right on there? No, it's off. There. Okay, I think that's on. Okay, so now if we did our job right, it tracks with her head movement. See that? Okay, so now what we can do, it looks ugly, but we're gonna make it look nicer by messing around with this stuff a little bit, and we'll get the effects that we had on this other one. Curves and glow. Copy those, paste them on here. Boom. And also, we're gonna do the same thing as before, feather it out, but then bring the expansion in like that, right? So now I got that one floating eye. And it suddenly looks a whole lot better. Now, her eyelid is still, right, like you still have the eye there even when her eye is closed. So what we'll want to do is just find the section where it makes sense to have the glowing eye and then remove it for the rest of it. Okay, so this is where it's going to start coming in. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take that and we're going to bring up opacity. And we're going to bring it down to 0 there, so that disappears.
Like demonic possession.
And what we might end up doing...
Demonic possession. You know. Like demonic possession.
Like demonic possessions.
Like demonic possession.
I don't know, do we want it to just be a quick flash? You know, where you see the red and then it, as soon as she blinks, it disappears? Or do you want it to come back again? She blinks, opens her eyes, and it's still there. So let me zoom out a little bit. So it could just be like
demonic possession.
And as soon as she closes her eye, then it disappears, right? And now we don't have any more red eye after that. Or you could have it last throughout the whole clip or for most of the clip.
Like demonic possession.
She has another blink. I kind of want to do that, I think. It's a lot of rotoscoping though, so maybe we just want it to be a flash. Yeah, so that doesn't look weird because we're using sort of a cutout of an eye. And so our eyes are not going to move naturally. So let's just do that. Okay, so here's what we're going to do now. Take this clip. We're going to bring up the mask path. And as we move forward, then this is going to get crunched because she's closing her eye. And it will then completely disappear as soon as, oops, her eye is closed. So what we're going to do is pull up opacity again and go from 100 to 0 very quickly. Now it's gone. So now what this looks like in practice is like this.
Like demonic possession. You know.
So it kind of, it's there and then it's gone.
Demonic possession.
Now, we've got a little bit of work to do to clean this up, but it's not too far from being ready to go. Let's turn on motion blur. And this thing should also have motion blur, because otherwise it looks a little strange. Ooh, that kind of looks strange. Okay, never mind. We're not going to turn on motion blur. The eyes are just going to be uncomfortably in focus. Okay, so right here, we're going to bring it down slightly. Yeah, I think that will work. I'll bring this up here. this will bring down slightly. Okay, I like that. Here, we'll have this be all the way down there. Okay, great. One eye down.
Like demonic possession. You know, like
I like that. What do you think? Do you like that? Is that fun? I don't care. I'm doing it anyway. All right, let's do that again. But now for the other eye. So we're going to remove the mask on this. Let's just... Let's think. So this was where the shot was taken from. So we'll actually duplicate this. Is that a bad idea? No, it'll be fine. And what we'll do is let's remove the mask. Now that's creepy. And we're just gonna put another one of these right around the eye. And we're gonna have to track this eyeball then next. Boom, boom, boom. More or less, I would say so. Okay, there's our eyeball. And then same as before, we're gonna come into the mask, feather it out, bring it in, rein it in. There we go. Now we've got matching glowing red eyes. This one is not paired to anything yet, or actually it is, it's paired to this one, but if you'll see, it won't line up.
demonic possession.
Right? It's like goofily down here, you know, way off from what the eye is actually, where the eye should be. So what we're gonna do is, once again, take this footage, track motion. Track the eyeball. Like so. Oop, that is not what I wanted to do. There we go. And now we will track this forward. And we can sort of see how far we need to go. Okay, well, you lost it. There we go. One more. And I'll just put it right there. So now I've got these tracked shots right there. We're going to track backwards from this as well. Till we no longer need it. Oof, and this track is not great. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do that again. Like that. There we go. Nice. Keep going. Okay, I think that's all that we need. Yep, that's all that we need. So now we're going to create another null object. Oops. Layer, new null object. And we're gonna edit the target, make it null3, say okay, apply, okay. Put this above our new eye, which I think that's that one. Must be this one then. Yeah. So we'll put the null right above. New layer. This layer I don't think we need anymore. We don't need this layer. We'll just clean this up slightly. So it's easier to keep track of everything. And now we'll pull up the position. Pull up the position on this. And we're going to, what just happened there? We're going to pick whip the position of the eye to the null. And we'll pull up the anchor point. And now we just need to match it. Put it right on top. Like that. And like that. Okay. So that's on. Yeah. It will move with it, but it's not blended yet.
Demonic possession.
So we just need to do a little bit of work with the mask and mess with it so that it looks good. So at the start, it's totally fine. No big issues there. This is all looking good. There it kind of bleeds just a tiny bit. So we're gonna come back. I'm gonna move it. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Move this up just a tiny bit. Okay, so now the eye is starting to close. It's very much closed there. So we're going to move this all the way down. That goes up. These need to come in because we don't need those sort of curved edges. You can kind of see a little bit of the eye, it looks like, in the original shot. So I'll probably pull this up and push this part up like that. We still don't need a ton of that. Why are there only 6 people watching? Well, unfortunately, it's kind of my fault. I had the stream going earlier tonight. Started at like 8:30, and it was going great. We had a bunch of people on who were all hanging out. We were editing, chatting, you know, all that good stuff. And then all of a sudden, everything goes dark, and apparently a fuse had flipped in my house, and so everybody that was watching just got kicked off. And so unfortunately, I think people didn't come back. They're like, I don't want to see that. The How Creative, how's it going? You see me? I see, spelled I-Y-E. Very funny. Yes. So, okay, so we're almost done with this. Let's go to here. Okay, it's already faded out, so we don't even have to worry about that. Okay. So here's the one issue. We need to bring this back up. I should have messed with the keyframes a little bit so I didn't have to do as much work. Oops. That's okay. We're just gonna get these back in order, back to how it was looking before. There we go. All right, now the eye should be done. Let's see this in replay, huh?
You know, like demonic possession. You know, like demonic possession. You know, like demonic possession. You know, like demonic possession.
I think that works pretty well. I think, you know, the effort, a little bit of extra effort goes a long way. We'll mess with her voice too, just to drive the point home. Give a little bit of a monster voice or something. All right. Cool, that's done. Go back to the timeline.
There's a document from 400 BC where a Greek physician argues that it could be treated with dietary changes. Another document from the same era describes a...
Okay. So we went from that to that. That works. That's okay.
There's a document from 400 BC where a Greek physician argues that it could be treated with dietary changes.
So her eyes are more or less there, right? So we're coming in to the next shot. We'll zoom in a bit. We can probably get to, yeah, like 80%-ish. And we'll move her eyes nicely right there so that it's easy to follow.
Another document from the same era describes
Her top of her head is getting cut off a tiny bit. So I'm going to move it down to there.
Another document from the same era describes a patient whose epilepsy was supposedly cured when he stopped eating or drinking. And at least a couple of
Okay. All right. So now her center is right there. So now we'll zoom in even more. Boom, boom, boom. And then we can really zoom back out after this.
At least a couple of physicians around that time, including the bloodletting loving Galen, argued that fasting could help with mild epilepsy. But the first
Okay, great. So let's go back.
document from 400 BC where a Greek physician argues that it could be treated with dietary changes. Another document from the
So I may want to find that document and then use it to as a visual. I don't know if there's a picture of it somewhere or not. Let me actually see. 400 BC. Where did Allie find that? So many sources. We're gonna make a note and then come back to that later. So I don't feel like doing a Google search right now. One moment. Okay.
could be treated with dietary. A Greek physician argues that 400 BC, where
So at 1 minute, document from 400 BC. All right, I'm just making notes for myself so that I can come back to it later, because I don't want to look this up right now. I'll do it later. Fix it in post. Okay.
another document from the same era describes a patient whose epilepsy was supposedly cured when he stopped eating or drinking. From the same era.
Okay, so another note. 105 document about not eating or drinking. Okay.
Describes a patient, and at least a couple of physicians around that time, including the bloodletting loving Galen.
Okay, that one we can do. Galen, a picture of Galen is not hard to find. So let's find a good picture of Galen. Huh? So here we got Google results. Well, first off, let's just look up Galen. There's plenty of pictures of Galen. You know, this is sort of the traditional, you know, these sorts of somewhat off to the side profile But I would love to get a picture of Galen doing bloodletting, you know? The only thing is I don't think there's any that maybe fit that mold. But here's what we can do. Let's just look up a picture of bloodletting. Find a large-sized. Yikes. Okay, there's some interesting photos in here. That's kind of an interesting one there. Yeah, we can use that. All right. There's also this. I mean, Galen was much older, you know, from a different era compared to these folks. So that's my only hesitation with like using this. Oh, what do we got? If I can find what I'm looking for here. Hey, we got another subscription over on YouTube. Thanks, Michelle, for joining the party. Okay. Well, I am not going to sweat this too much. Let's just go with our first impulse. I like that bloodletting. I like that the other results, one of them is cupping. It's like, oh yeah, wow, it's really in that same sort of domain, huh? So we're gonna come over, save that image, and then we're gonna take maybe this picture of Galen. Oh, that's a tiny one. Let's find a large pic of Galen. Oh, that one is not gonna work. Let's see here. Okay. Well, I don't think we're gonna get a color version. So instead what we'll do is we'll use this, because Wikimedia Commons, which is always great. Love that. Okay. And now you might be saying, what are you doing right now? What we're gonna do is we're gonna grab this clip, bring it over into After Effects. And we're gonna grab the pictures that we just downloaded. Whoa, that's a big one. Scale that down. Right now, what we're gonna do is we'll take this guy. I actually want to flip it. There we go. That's a little bit better. We're gonna create a mask around this because I don't particularly like this like edge, this border here. So we're gonna do that just to clean it up. And you know what? We might even just to make it easier to fit on screen, we might even pull these sides in a bit. Wonderful. And we'll position it over. We'll have to scale it down slightly. Like so. Okay. And now we bring in Galen. We're going to cut out his head. Like this. Just going to create a rough mask around him. can always come back and adjust this later on. Doesn't have to be perfect. Yikes, that's a little bit ugly. Big of a deal though. Look at that beard though. Jealous. That is quite the beard. I had a beard not that long, but decently long for a hot second, and it wasn't even during the pandemic, believe it or not. I just decided that I was going to let it grow, and grow it did. Let me tell you, keeping a well-maintained long beard, that's pretty hard actually. I thought it would be easier as time went on, but I was wrong. Actually, you know what? We're going to, do we want his neck? I don't know. Maybe we do want his neck. Where is his neck? What? Oh wait, this guy doesn't really have a neck. Okay, let's just go by his hairline here then. Okay, we'll just do this. Just gonna pull this guy out. Like that. Boom. There. Okay. Now you might be saying, what did that do? Oh, what the heck? Did I just... Micah. That was dumb. That was very dumb. All right. Errors. Mistakes were made. I did that whole mask for this layer. Well, that was a problem. That's a problem because I can't use that. I once saw a guy in the 1990s editing video on magnetic tape. That and this looks like not fun. This is fun. I'm enjoying myself. All right. I just don't like making mistakes like that. It's just like a waste of time, you know? We're gonna do a real rough mask then, now that we've messed it up once. I was trying to be a little bit careful, but now we're just gonna botch this. I don't even care. I follow no rules. Here we go. Galen doesn't care either. He's like, whatever. I'm dead. All right. Really, really, really rough. We're scuffing this. Okay. Going out to here. Get in slightly and then back out. Almost back. There we go. Ugh. Annoying, but it's done. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna add in a few more points to help make this look nicer. Maybe bring in anywhere you can see like a really bright white outline. You just want to kind of bring it in. You know, for some people, that's the fun of it. You know, you get sort of a crappy looking cutout, and that's sort of the point, is to make it look done. Make it look done. Make it look like it's done sloppily. but not here. Oh, I think it just takes a certain feel for the video, and I don't think it would fit very well with the feel of this video. Not that it's like a super serious topic, but I don't know. I mean, I guess epilepsy isn't like the most fun thing in the world, so. Okay. Let me just fix this over here and then we'll call it good. There, I'd say that's good. Okay, so now I've got Galen's head. Now we're going to, we gotta scale it down. I don't want it scaled too small. I actually think the big head thing could be kind of funny. Maybe like that. Like that. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Maybe we can have his neck kind of line up a little bit with the edge of this guy's jacket. What do you think? Do you like the big head look? Is that fun? I think it's kind of fun. So what'll happen is it'll be like this picture, bloodletting Levin Galen. His face will just sort of pop on. Boop. 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 What do you think? I think that's pretty good. You know, we could do, well, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to do that. Ooh, another person has subscribed. Jeffrey Rubin. Thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. Okay, well, let's just bring these both over like so. Get back. So this is what the shot will look like.
At least a couple of physicians around that time.
Including the
I was about to say bloodletting loving. So we gotta have this image roll onto screen. We're gonna put a drop shadow on it so that you got a little bit of, no, don't that. Can I not flip around the drop shadow? Okay, I guess we'll have to do that manually. It's a little bit annoying, but that's okay. So have that there. We'll have this coming from the left as well. Turn on motion blur.
The bloodletting loving Galen. The bloodletting.
So it's kind of crossing over her head there. I don't love that. So I might just move both of these over a little bit. There. That's okay. I guess we could move Allie over a little bit too. But, or we could scale it down. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
The bloodletting loving Galen.
So Galen comes in right. Oh, Galen comes in right about here. Let's have bloodletting.
Including the bloodletting loving Galen.
And then Galen, what I would like to do, we've already got the anchor point right at the bottom of his head. So what we're going to do is have his head scale in, sort of an overshoot. Oh, That's not what I want. Just the scale, just the scale. Overshoot. Yeah, there we go.
Galen argued that fasting,
There we go.
including the bloodletting loving Galen, argued that fasting could help with mild epilepsy. And at least a couple of physicians around that time, including the bloodletting loving Galen, argued that fasting could help with mild epilepsy.
Okay, I think that's good. On to the next clip.
The first known true study of
Hang on. We gotta mess with eye lines here. So I do want it to be zoomed out a bit because we're pretty close in this shot. So this one maybe we'll bring up to 60% scale. We're not going to get all the way down to this horizontal line, but we can keep the vertical line the same.
the first known true
Let's move it over slightly. There we go.
But the first known true study of this idea didn't happen until 1911 in France, when 20 epilepsy patients combined periods of fasting, not eating, and purging, throwing up, with a low-calorie vegetarian diet. Sounds kind of miserable.
So again, we could put something on screen there if we wanted to. I'm not in a rush to do that yet. So we're going to skip it for now, and maybe we'll come back to that. You know, maybe next time I watch through this, I'm going to say, you know, we should put something in there.
Majority of the participants couldn't maintain the diet.
Oh, hang on. So there's where her eye line ends. It's a little bit higher, actually. So let's take this into 70. Oh, guess we can't even get that. Okay, how's that?
Sounds kind of miserable. The majority of the participants
Okay, so it's, she really like leans down there, but really it's more like there. So we'll use that as the new measure.
The majority of the participants
Let's bring it down slightly, or up. It's up and over just a bit.
sounds kind of miserable. The majority of the participants couldn't maintain the diet, go figure, but the two who did showed very dramatic improvements. And the diet didn't have a negative effect on cognitive capabilities, unlike the leading medications at the time. Meanwhile, on the other side,
So she kind of finishes there. Yeah, I think I might end up pushing it in a little bit farther even, to 80%. Just to get a nice contrast, because then we're gonna zoom out.
the majority of the participants couldn't maintain the diet, go figure, but the two who did showed very dramatic improvements. And the diet didn't have a negative effect on cognitive capabilities, unlike the leading medications at the time. Meanwhile,
Okay. So there's the eye line now. Meanwhile, now this might be one where we end up breaking some rules. Let's go to 55% and just push that line to where it needs to be. Push this down slightly like that. I think that's going to be good enough.
the leading medications at the time. Meanwhile, on the other side of the pond, a fasting trend was hitting the US. There's actually this kind of hilarious and weird bit from this time where a guy named Bernard McFadden
Might actually cut that.
was hitting the US.
Okay. Cut that.
Was was hitting the US. There's actually this kind of
Okay. So eyeline is there. We're gonna zoom way into 90, I think.
the US. There's actually this kind of hilarious and weird bit from this time where a guy named Bernard McFadden, who apparently hated doctors.
Okay, we're gonna bring in some photos of this dude. Allie luckily had linked a photo to this guy, so that makes that a little bit easier. Let's go to that PDF. Let me show you what we're working with. So this dude hated doctors, and he... Oh, here, I'll just play the clip so you can hear what she says.
This kind of hilarious and weird bit from this time where a guy named Bernard McFadden, who apparently hated doctors, started producing his own magazine called Physical Culture, where he argued that medicine is a sham and all you need is a good diet and exercise to live to be over 100 years old. To prove his point, he filled the magazine with pictures of himself, posing with muscles bulged. Hot. But
All right, the moment you've all been waiting for. That's what he looks like. Good looking guy, you know? Not bad. You know, you should be proud. Okay, so now what we gotta do is get this picture, essentially, and pull that into After Effects. So we'll open up After Effects here. Boom. Okay. Bernard McFadden. Now, let's see what we can find here. Images. Bernard McFadden. Nice. So is this the same guy or is this a different dude? I guess it's the same guy. Okay, that's a tiny picture though. Okay, I'm just saving a bunch of pictures here. Here, I'll pull over what I'm looking at so you can see what I'm working with. Bernard McFadden, everybody. Wow. Okay, we gotta grab that. Early bodybuilder. Is this the same dude? He looks very different from photo to photo. If this is all the same, I guess it is the same guy. No, is that the same dude? Yeah, I guess so. Wow. I guess the mustache kind of makes him look different. Where did that photo go? Oh, this one. Okay. I mean, any excuse to show a mostly naked man in a YouTube channel, right? On a YouTube video. Okay. Whoa. Look at how skinny he is in that picture. That's disgusting. Anyway, Oh, yeah. That's from a book? This is a book? I guess so. I don't think I want that. Physical culture. All right. We've got plenty of photos of this dude now. Maybe I want like a picture of him looking normal, not necessarily, you know, just him posing seductively. But they are fun. Let me just grab this photo from the... One moment. Here we go. Okay. Let's see. We need just a normal picture. Normal McFadden. Oh, wow. Okay, this is pretty great too. That's a book. Is that the book or is that... It says book. It kind of gets the point across, though. All right. Okay, let's get an actual photo of him. Here's one. So this one was shown in the PDF too. I think that's a good one. Him with Roosevelt. Any others that... I guess this is kind of... Oh, no, it's not going to work. Wow. You know, he doesn't have a lot of photos. What the... Why would this be the photo? He doesn't have a lot of photos where he's looking normal. What? God, he must be so dehydrated in that picture. Oof. I don't even know if that's him. Anyway, okay. We've looked at enough pictures of this guy. Okay. All right. Oh, here we go. See, this is kind of what I was looking for. Perfect. All right, we've got all the photos that we need and more. So now what we're gonna do is grab them and drop them in. So we'll do this and that. Nice. So we'll just scale these down to an appropriate size so that they're workable. That one's probably fine, actually. Okay, great. And I have not been watching the comments, so all right. So luckily, you're not making too much of a ruckus. I know that when you see a man like this, it's hard to pay attention. Okay. Great. So now what we're gonna do is position all of these over, more or less, and we're gonna start off with the normie photos, which I'll have to find. There's one. So these two can come later. And there's the other. Okay, great. So they're kind of back to back. Wonderful. So these ones can all go to the top like so. Move those back. Okay.
There's actually this kind of hilarious and
Hilarious and weird bit from this time where a guy named Bernard McFadden, who apparently hated
All right.
time where a guy named Bernard.
So she starts to say his name, Bernard McFadden. We'll have this coming from the left. Have this one come in as well from the left.
Named Bernard McFadden.
Gotta turn on motion blur.
Where a guy named Bernard McFadden who
And we'll move him up. And we'll slightly rotate him. Put him right there.
I named Bernard McFadden, who apparently hated doctors. So
Position this down. We'll scale it down as well. And we'll rotate this guy as well. Like so. Because, you know, they're photos. Sort of expect maybe they'd be slightly askew.
McFadden, who apparently hated doctors, started producing his.
We could probably lengthen out the transition.
Bernard McFadden, who guy named Bernard McFadden. A guy named Bernard McFadden, who apparently hated doctors, started producing his own magazine. A guy named Bernard McFadden, who apparently hated.
Does it? Okay, let me ask you guys a question. For those of you that are watching, do you care if this guy's name is on screen? Bernard McFadden. It's kind of a weird name because it's not Bernard, it's Bernard. That's the only reason that I ask. We have put names on screen in the past, and I can very quickly kind of show what that would look like. I actually don't know if that's how his name is spelled or not. But just for the sake of demonstration, okay, right, like let's put this down with the other image, the other layer here, and then put that in like so, and then
Where a guy named Bernard McFadden,
who apparently. Okay. Do you care if his name is on screen or not? Do you like that? Do you prefer that? Would you rather that it not be there? Oh, -6. All right, I'm gonna keep it. It doesn't hurt. And I think it's, I don't know, it's intriguing.
We're a guy named Bernard McFadden who...
Okay, we need a drop shadow on this. Like so. We'll need a drop shadow on this. Kinda... that's fine. I was like, I don't know if I love the black border on that, but I think it's okay. Yeah. There we go.
We're a guy named Bernard McFadden who apparently hated doctors.
Hated doctors.
Started producing his own magazine.
Name on screen helps us research about him. Good point. Okay. Thank you for your feedback. Batut? I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But thank you. Appreciate that. Good to know. So if you ever like want to look him up, then having the name would help. Okay,
We're
good.
a guy named Bernard McFadden who apparently hated doctors. Started producing his own magazine called...
Okay, so I think I'm going to start off with that top one. So we'll put that at the bottom. Oh, that one's good too. So we'll use that one. And that one is good too. And that one's good too. Oh my gosh, I've got so many. Okay. So, but she doesn't really reveal that it's pictures of himself. So let's see if we can pull up his, like, picture of this magazine without him on the cover or something.
Doctors. Started producing his own magazine called Physical Culture. We argued that doctors started producing his own magazine called Physical...
Okay, so this one, we can go there. These can go back. That's not the photo that I was looking for. Is this it? Nope. This one? Nope. This one. There we go. Wonderful. This one can move back. Okay. I agree. I wasn't sure about whether I wasn't hearing the D at the end or not. Good to know. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate the feedback. Yeah, it is kind of an odd name. So I think, yeah, I think having it on screen will help.
His own magazine called Physical Culture.
Okay. This we're going to have come in from the left as well. And we're going to make this quite large, I think. We'll scale this up. But the photo is poopy. It's not great quality. Physical Culture Magazine. And let's get a nice big cover here. And I want sort of an old, because these are like newer ones. Yeah, like these. This one's good. That one's good. And we need one more of Physical Culture. That one's not bad. That one could work. What's this one? Yeah, that one's good. Okay. All right, we got some pictures of the magazine. Let's pull them in. So we got that one and that one. So I think we actually don't need this one anymore. We'll use these two instead. And the reason that I'm moving these layers around is just to keep, like, so that they're underneath the other layers that are going to come later, but also just to keep things organized.
Using his own magazine called Physical Culture, where he...
So let's do this. Insert coming in from the left.
His own magazine called Physical Culture.
Okay, now that's not where we're going to position them, nor the scale of them, so let's bring them over. They are going to be larger, but not that large. There we go. This one will be down below and a little bit smaller. There we go. And we'll rotate it to... yeah. And this one... oh, that's not what I want to do. We'll move up. Just for a second, I kind of want to put a mask around this because I'm not in love with the white border. Like that. And then great. Good. Okay. So now I want both of these on screen so that we can frame this correctly. Let's fix the rotation. We'll actually have this one going this way, and we'll have it pop out like that. And this guy will have turning the other direction, and we'll position it lower, like so. I think that's pretty good. So they're not overlapping each other too much. There we go. Look at these, the lines or the sayings on these magazines. Weakness a crime, don't be a criminal. Your husband can make more money. Here's how. I wonder if this is sort of like a magazine that women would pick up specifically just to look at Bernard McFadden. You know? Like, was this kind of a, I don't know, like a Playgirl kind of magazine or something? I wonder. Cool. All right, so those are in. Let's see how that looks.
Using his own magazine called...
Okay, we're gonna have that come in slower.
Using his own magazine called Physical Culture.
We argue that medicine is a
Maybe we need one more physical culture cover until we get to talking about... this could be good. $0.15, that's a newer one. I'm looking for those 5-cent physical culture ones, because undoubtedly those are the, you know, the ones where it's all him. So it looks like this has been a magazine for a while, or it was a magazine for a while. Probably not much, not Probably not still a magazine. I don't think there's many magazines that are still going. Okay, I'm not seeing anything else really good, so maybe we'll just use this one. So we'll drop that one in. There it is. Physical culture. And once again, we're going to put a mask around this just to get rid of some of this gross border that we've got on it. Okay. Okay. This one. Okay. And great. That's good to go. So bring that one down, and that one will probably go around here-ish. And what we'll do is we'll scale it down more than the others. And we'll rotate it perhaps even more than the others. And we'll try and not get in the way of maybe that's too rotated. I think that's fine there. And then we'll add a drop shadow. Good to go on that. Now he just needs to come in from the left. Have it last a bit longer.
Physical culture, where he argued that medicine is a sham.
Let's have these come in a little bit more incrementally.
His own magazine called Physical Culture, where he argued that medicine is a sham and all you need is his own magazine called Physical Culture, where he argued that medicine is a sham and all you need is a good diet and exercise. All you need is a good diet and exercise to
Where do you get your imagery sources, or is it just Google Image? For this stuff, it's just Google Image. I keep a running list of like images that are not Creative Commons, essentially, so that I can put it in the description typically, so that we can show, like, essentially say, like, you know, we're claiming these under fair use since it's used for educational purposes, when it is actually educational purposes, right? But I really like Wikimedia Commons. I'll usually go to creativecommons.org. Is that what it is? .org? I think it's .org. And use their search function because they have a bunch of they scrape from a bunch of different websites, including Google, you know, to find images that are free to use. But I'll also use, you know, for like some more, if I'm looking for something that's cleaner, you know, sort of stock photos or stock video, there's a few different websites that I use for that. And then if we're using any vector images, there's some websites that offer free, like essentially animation or like animated images that you can use and manipulate however you want. So lots of resources out there, tons.
Own magazine called Physical Culture, where he argued that medicine
But this
is
is just a
sham,
Google
and all
search.
you need is a good diet and exercise to live to be over 100 years old. To prove his point, he filled the magazine with pictures of
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do.
exercise to live to be over 100 years old. To prove his point, he filled the
We're gonna have all of these layers that we have already leave screen. So we're gonna
To prove his point, he filled the magazine with
okay. We're gonna slightly stagger them. Let's actually do this. Like so. Let's try that out.
point. He filled the magazine with pictures of
There we go. So now we're getting to pictures of himself. So now we can take all these images that we've been sitting on. We've just been waiting to use them. Now we can finally use them. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in here, just make sure that that's all lined up. They need to be necessarily. Okay. Let's grab all of these and use the same effect.
himself.
Like that, like that, like that, like that. Let's see how that is.
Himself. Posing.
Okay, too fast.
Himself. Posing with muscles bulge.
All right, we're gonna remove the magazine spread there, and we're just gonna keep these ones, I think. And what we're gonna do is take these, we're gonna mess with the rotation a little bit, and we're gonna position them in different spots. Like that. Hello. Nathan, you're back. You were gone maybe for a little bit, and now you're back. How are you doing? Having a good night? Or day? Is it day there? I forget. Okay, so we'll bring him over there. And then we got this guy. So we'll do a little bit of maybe not as much rotation, but we'll make it smaller. Bring him here. And we got this one. So maybe this guy would be farther over. You know, he kind of looks like Martin Sheen. I'm realizing, don't you think? Kind of looks like right here, definitely Martin in there, like very Martin Sheen-esque. We'll scale this. Well, we could keep it nicely focused on. Let's do this. This guy. Yeah, this is the last one. So we'll do this. Yeah, I think that'll fit. That'll be good. You're good? I'm good.
Himself. Posing.
Just been, you know, editing away, trying to... Okay, great. Wonderful. Now, with all these images, we're gonna do, put a drop shadow on this. Like that. Copy. Paste on all these. Nice. Great. Extend out how long, oh, don't want to do that. How long it takes them to get on screen.
Himself. Posing with muscles. Pictures of himself. Posing with muscles bulged. Himself. Posing with muscles bulged. Hot. There's actually this kind of...
Okay, good. That's good enough, I think. Decent enough quality. We can get by with that. Not terribly worried. Where do I live? What country? I'm in the US. The United States. You know, as I'm thinking about this, I'm gonna try something here. So I'm realizing that, and I haven't really thought about this in the past, but I often put a look over the top of these. Oh, weird. Why does it do that? Let's do that. Here. Let me try putting this onto these other photos. So I think it might help with the look overall and help things blend in a little bit better. I don't know. Definitely makes it look more orange. I don't know if that's good or not, but it is what it is. Sorry, what I'm doing is, so for the footage, I'll often put on a look that helps sort of compress the colors a little bit and makes things pop a bit more. But I realize that I don't typically do that for my overlays. And now I'm thinking maybe I should. So I'm just trying it out to see how it looks. And I don't mind it. It brings a little bit of color. So let me go back and try to do that with some of these other images too. See, like those images were really blown out. So I wonder if this is helpful for making it match the footage a little bit better. Yeah, I think so. I think this is a good choice. Had to reload YouTube because I was surprised the stream was still going. Hard at work, you bet. I know. So Luna, you didn't hear this before. I was saying this to folks because the stream had ended suddenly, you know, as you're aware, because the electricity went out. Essentially, I flipped the fuse because we had too much stuff going on that single fuse, and everything went out. All my lights, my computer, literally everything that was running on this floor just like went out. So, which is unfortunate. We were on a roll, but I got it back up and running, and now we're just running through doing all of these effects to try to get that set to go. We're doing a good job. I think we're not that far into the video, but I think we will have fewer effects as time goes on. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see what's next.
Out of this weirdness, McFadden's assistant, a guy named Hugh William Conklin, started using fasting to treat illnesses and began promoting the idea that epilepsy was caused by toxins secreted in the intestines.
All right, let's get a picture
Out of this weirdness, McFadden's assistant, a guy named Hugh William Conklin.
Hugh William Conklin. That's almost definitely not how his name is spelled. Let's look this guy up. Hugh William Conklin. Okay, I guess that is how his name is spelled. Images. Okay, folks. This is what we're working with. These are all of the photos that are available to us. So is it this guy? That says zoologist. I don't know if you can see that. But probably not a zoologist. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just pulling up stuff here. Where the heck did I... Okay, there I am. Let me move myself. So it says zoologist right down there. So not that guy. There's this dude, Hugh Conklin. Alcatron. Okay, it's this guy. Look, it says epilepsy right there. That's him. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. So we're gonna save this guy's photo. Okay. And now we're gonna open up this in After Effects.
Out of this weirdness, McFadden's assistant.
McFadden's assistant, a guy named
Hugh William Conklin. Are you not gonna? There it is. Okay, great. Don't love the white outline, so we're gonna get rid of that. Great. There we go. Position him over here. We might scale him up. I mean, the photo is already pretty grainy, so it's not like we're adding anything substantially detrimental to the image. You know, we're not adding pixels and stuff like that. I mean, we are, but not enough for it to be worrisome or bothersome. Okay. And now we're also going to put in his name. Just make sure that I'm spelling it right. Hugh William Conklin. There we go. Position that under his image, or maybe we'll even kind of do like what we did with McFadden. Put it on his name, or on his image rather. Like so. Still add a drop shadow to it though. Okay. Hugh William Conklin. maybe since we've got his name there, we'll bring him down slightly. Like that. And now we'll have him come in from the left. Turn on motion blur.
A guy named Hugh William Conklin started.
Okay, let's have that last a bit longer. We'll have that come in a little bit
A guy
afterwards.
named Hugh William Conklin started using fasting to treat illnesses and began
promoting the idea that epilepsy was caused by toxins secreted in the intestines. But as weirdness,
Fadden's assistant, a guy named Hugh William Conklin, started using fasting to treat illnesses and began promoting the idea that epilepsy was caused by toxins secreted in the intestines. But out of this weirdness,
I think that's good. Moving on. Next.
he claimed that if you fasted
Okay. So now I gotta mess with video. Not gonna worry about it. I was like looking at where the eye lines line up. You can see, you know, right there in that crosshatch. And now she's not in that zone. I don't know. Okay, fine, I'll fix it. Doesn't have to be that much. Just a tiny, tiny bit. Like that. Boom. And then a little bit down. Good enough.
out of this weirdness, McFadden's assistant, a guy named Hugh William Conklin,
Okay.
tested.
So her eyes are all the way over here. We don't really want to have her face all the way over on that side, but we will keep that same horizontal eye line. Let's make sure that we save. Oh, you know what? I've been saving it as, you know, under the autosave, because when the power went out, I had to, you know, the last time that I'd saved it was 3 hours earlier. So let's save this as the actual thing, and we want to replace it. Great. Now we're in a good spot. So let's increase the scale. 70% is probably good. I think that's fine.
Secreted in the intestines. He claimed that if you fasted for a while, like 18 to 25 days, you could totally detoxify your body and cure your epilepsy. He supposedly had a 90% cure rate for epilepsy and
Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, Tim, thank you for telling me. This is the second time that this has happened. Hang on. What the heck? That's the second time that that's happened to me, where it switched to another scene on my like streaming software without me realizing. I wasn't even on the software, so I don't even know what the deal is there. But anyway, thanks for telling me. Appreciate that. So as I was saying, we've lined up the eye lines.
he claimed that if you fasted for a while, like 18 to 25 days, you could totally detoxify your body and cure your epilepsy. He supposedly had a 90% cure rate for epilepsy in children, and around a 50% cure rate for adults up to age 40. This
Okay. There's the eye line. I don't think we need an effect for that. I mean, we could if we really wanted to, but there's just not, there's nothing that like stands out to me where I'm like, ooh, I really want to put something in. Let's see here.
This was a big deal, especially in the early 1900s, because there wasn't a whole lot in the way of effective anticonvulsant medication. The best options at that time were potassium bromide, which prevented seizures but also has a pretty strong sedative effect, and phenobarbital, a barbiturate, which is actually still used today, but isn't always effective. And if you didn't like either of those options, then your other option was pretty much just to ride it out, which isn't great.
Okay, so here we can definitely put in some images to help out. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm sort of losing steam here, so this will probably be the last effect that I work on tonight. But let's do it. Okay, so.
This was a big deal, especially
Especially in the early 1900s, because there wasn't a whole lot in the way of effective anticonvulsant medication. The best options at that time were potassium bromide, which prevented seizures but also has a pretty strong sedative effect.
Okay, so we're looking up potassium bromide. So we've got a Wikipedia image. Let me pull this over. So you got potassium bromide there. I mean, that's the problem with this, is it just looks like white powder. I mean, these are like white capsules. So maybe not ideal. You got like, you know, something, some sort of labeled something or other. You got potato photos like that. Wow. It's so grainy. I don't think they have enough JPEG. That's not even labeled. Oh, I guess it does. KBR. Okay. Never mind. I take it back. I mean, that would be a cool photo for this, I suppose. That could work. Right? Oh, here you go. Sodium bromide. It's not a great quality picture. That's the problem. Let's try this. Size, large. Potassium bromide. Let's see, do they have any sort of like potassium bromide bottle? Now we'll do a large size. Wow. We're just looking for sort of an old school looking bottle. I think that's just bromide. Let's see here. Why is it so hard to find this stuff, huh? Why can't I just find exactly what I want whenever I want it? Isn't that what the internet is for? Potassium bromide old. Maybe that'll yield results. Maybe I'm just searching for too large of a... That won't work. Maybe I just need to search for smaller quality, lesser quality images. Okay. This photo keeps coming back. I guess we're using it. I don't know what to tell you. We're just gonna use that. This crappy photo. Okay. We'll use that. And then, what was the other drug? Phenobarbital. That one. Let's see if we can find a good photo of that. Phenobarbital. Old bottle. Maybe habit forming. Sedative and hypnotic. It's a cool bottle. Let's see. Okay, that's not gonna work. Let's try medium sized. Okay, let's try this guy, I guess. Alright, we got two crappy photos that we're gonna do some magic on. So we got potassium bromide, phenobarbital. So let's do this first. Oops. This one, let's do chroma. Key. Color key. That's what I was looking for. That helps. That does most of the job. You could probably do a mask if we really wanted to. Like, you know, hone it in even more. Yeah, okay, that one's fine. This one's a little bit more annoying. We'll probably just have to mask it. So that's what we're gonna do. Boy, what we got going on? What do we got going on? Another subscriber, Nightmare Gaming. Thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. This will have to move, and it seems like, Need to add that in. Oops, nope. It's like kind of hard to see this green in this background. Okay. Oop. That's ugly. Okay. Almost done with this mask. And then we can finally animate it. There we go. We made it. Okay. So both of these will scale up. And we'll position them over. Maybe we'll do a little bit of an offset, you know, like one there and the other one sort of down here. Kind of like that. We've got all this real estate over on the side here, so might as well use it. You know, I'm not totally satisfied with how this looks. It's a crappy photo to begin with, so that's definitely part of the reason why. Let's do this. I'm bringing key light. Oh, what the heck? Are you for real? Okay, that didn't work. Never mind. Let's do this. Tell you what, we're gonna thin this way out, and then we're gonna duplicate it and take off the color key, and then we're gonna do just a very rough outline here. Like that. Boom. Right? So now you preserve the insides a little bit more. Now, that said, you can see this edge is getting a little bit cut off. So maybe I'll pull this up ever so slightly to get it looking nice. And that should work for our purposes. Now we can even mess with this a little bit more. Like that. Yeah, that's not bad. Once again, we're getting this cut off here. So we'll move this over to the edge and that over there. Okay, that's good. And then what we're going to do is take these, pre-compose them. And voila, now we've got our bottle. Okay. Move the anchor point to the left. Okay, so let's fit this in screen. And, oh. Exoskeleton. I know, you're right. I can change the mask color. I should have just done that, but I was being lazy. I don't know. I was like, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm almost done anyway. But you're right. I could just change the mask color by like doing that. Much easier to see. But I don't know. I have no excuse. Potassium bromide. Potassium. And let's move that over actually. Oh, what did I do? I can tell when I'm getting tired because I start making a lot of like typing and hotkey errors. It's usually a bad sign. 5 is actually, that looks okay there. Duplicate that. And we'll just position this guy over there. And since it's a single, phenobarbital. There we go. Whew, that was a journey. So we'll put these together. Position these closer to one another. And then all of these will we'll add this sort of coming in from the left.
Because there wasn't a whole lot in the way of effective anticonvulsant medication. The best options at that time were potassium bromide.
Potassium bromide. Oh, let's turn on. Let's have this come in a little bit after, or the other way around. This one come in already.
Time were potassium bromide, which
prevented seizures, but it also has
sedative effect, and phenobarbital.
Okay.
And phenobarbital, a barbiturate, which is...
Oop, that text is a little bit too close to the image for my liking. Okay. That's a little bit better.
And phenobarbital, a barbiturate, which is...
Oh. Man. Crunchy. Okay, that's where these will leave. And we'll do exiting from the left, or exiting to the left.
Those options, then your other option was... Those options, then your other option was...
pretty much just to write it out, which isn't great. This...
Okay. we got through that. So here's what we've done today, folks. Whew, man. All right, so we went through the entire timeline because we did a rough cut during the last stream. And so today we went through the entire cut again and tightened everything up, removed some extra takes that were in there that hadn't been deleted yet, and did a lot of J cuts and whatnot to keep things really snappy and moving. And then we also started doing effects. So, you know, adding text and image on screen to, you know, add some interest and whatnot. So there's still more work to be done. You know, we got to the end of the, well, 3 minutes and 30 seconds just about, out of 14 minutes and 39 seconds. So, you know, slow going, but we're making progress. There's still more to do, obviously. I'm sort of lining myself up. I'm thinking that as we go on, there will be fewer effects. That would be my preference. Fewer things to put on screen. So we'll sort of see how things pan out. But honestly, what's probably going to happen is tomorrow I'll end up doing more editing, trying to get things wrapped up. I've got to finish the effects. I've got to put in songs, you know, background music and whatnot. I've got to mess with the audio still and clean that up, and make sure that that's sounding good. And I've also got to finish the ad. So there's a paid promotion in here that I've got to get. I actually have to do it. So it's there's a lot of work still left, but we're gonna get through it. You know, it's just a matter of brute forcing your way through all of this stuff and taking things one step at a time. But yeah, I really appreciate all of you for hanging out with me, watching the stream, watching the process. I hope that it's somewhat interesting, you know, or that it's relaxing or whatever. But I might end up streaming again tomorrow. I might not, just because I'm gonna be pretty honed in and trying to work pretty fast. And when I try to work fast, that means that I don't have much time to like talk, I guess. I just get really laser focused on what I'm working on. So anyway, I'll play it by ear, but and I'll let you know when we get there. But I appreciate all of you. I appreciate you hanging on. If you were at the stream from the beginning and you ended up hopping back on, I appreciate you even more for you know, finding the stream again when it died the first time. And yeah, I'll be streaming more in the future. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to see me do more than just editing videos, then hop on over to Twitch and you can just search for me. My username is Micah_psych, and I'll put that in the chat just so that you can find that easily. There it is. Feel free to follow me over there if you like. If you use Twitch, I like to play games over there, video games, just chat, hang out, do other fun stuff. I did a stream not that long ago where I was giving bad therapy advice, purposefully so. So yeah, anyway, I appreciate all of you, and hope you have a good night or a good morning, depending on where you are in the world. And we'll talk more soon. All right, see ya.